The story begins at a prestigious gala in New York City, attended by some of the wealthiest and most influential people in the world. The event is a highly exclusive affair, with only a select few invited. Among the guests are top tech moguls, business tycoons, and global investors, all of whom have a reputation for being fiercely competitive and focused on profits. Barron Trump, though young, has been invited due to his family's high profile and wealth. But this evening, no one expected the young man to stand out. As the gala proceeds, guests are caught up in the usual displays of opulence, unaware that Barron is about to make an unforgettable impact. When Barron enters the event, his presence is barely acknowledged by most of the guests. He is known for being quiet and somewhat reserved compared to his father, Donald Trump. As he walks through the grand ballroom, the billionaire guests are more interested in discussing their business ventures and new investments than in noticing the young Trump. However, Barron's demeanor is calm and composed, unlike anyone expected. Despite his wealth and connections, Barron has a reputation for being humble and modest. Many view him as a bystander in the world of high society, but tonight he is about to change that perception forever. The turning point occurs when Barron, who has been observing the wealthy guests from a distance, quietly walks up to the stage and surprises everyone by announcing a special act of kindness. The room falls silent as Barron explains that he has chosen to donate a significant portion of his personal wealth to charity. He announces a new foundation that aims to address global hunger, climate change, and healthcare access for impoverished communities. The billionaires in attendance are stunned. A few moments ago, they had been discussing their latest investments, yet here is the son of a billionaire who is not interested in accumulating more wealth but using what he has for the greater good. His decision immediately shifts the focus from opulence to philanthropy. Barron shocks the room even further when he reveals the staggering amount of his donation, $1 billion. The figure is unexpected, not just because of the size but because of Barron's age. At just 18 years old, it is unheard of for someone so young to be making such an extraordinary commitment. The guests are left speechless, with some even wondering if they heard him correctly. Many in the room are accustomed to philanthropy, but few have witnessed such a spontaneous and genuine act of generosity. This moment sets the stage for the ripple effect that will occur over the coming weeks. At first, many of the billionaires in the room are unsure how to react. Some whisper to each other, unsure if Barron is serious or if this is part of a publicity stunt. But as Barron speaks more about his passion for helping others, they realize that he is not seeking fame or recognition. He genuinely wants to make a difference. A few of the guests, particularly those involved in philanthropy, are impressed by Barron's genuine nature. However, others are still in disbelief, questioning why he would do something so selfless without expecting anything in return. Barron takes the stage again to deliver a brief but powerful speech, where he explains that his desire to give back comes from seeing the inequalities in the world. He talks about his travels to various countries and the people he has met, noting how their struggles have deeply affected him. He reveals that he has spent years quietly studying the world's most pressing issues and how he could contribute to solving them. As Barron speaks, a palpable shift occurs in the room. The billionaires, who were initially skeptical, begin to listen with full attention. They realize that Barron's words are not just empty rhetoric but are driven by a profound sense of empathy and urgency. Many of them begin to reconsider their own charitable endeavors. After the announcement of his donation, Barron issues a challenge to the other billionaires in the room. He asks them to match or exceed his donation to the foundation, urging them to think about the future and the impact they can have on the world. This unexpected challenge stirs the room. Some are moved by his call for action, while others feel pressure to live up to Barron's example. The challenge is a wake-up call for many in the room, especially those who have made large charitable donations but have not been as vocal or transparent about their efforts. Barron's challenge is not about competition, it's about inspiring others to take more bold actions in support of the world's most vulnerable populations. As the gala continues, a smaller group of billionaires gathers around Barron to talk about legacy and responsibility. Many of them express admiration for his clarity of vision and his focus on using his wealth to make a lasting impact. Barron listens attentively and discusses how he views his family legacy not as a burden but as an opportunity to make the world a better place. The conversation shifts from self-interest to collective action, with several of the billionaires in the group expressing interest in creating a joint initiative. Barron becomes the catalyst for a broader movement within the room, one that encourages these influential figures to consider the long-term consequences of their actions and wealth. While the guests at the gala are still digesting Barron's announcement, his family, especially his father, Donald Trump, takes notice. Donald, who has often been associated with a more combative and self-centered approach to wealth, is deeply moved by his son's actions. Barron's act of kindness goes beyond a financial gesture. It represents a shift in values within the Trump family. Donald, who is known for his strong, sometimes polarizing personality, finds himself humbled by his son's maturity and compassion. In a private conversation later that night, Donald expresses pride in Barron's generosity, acknowledging that his son has shown him the importance of using wealth for good, even when it is not the most profitable route. In the days following the gala, the story of Barron Trump's extraordinary act of kindness begins to spread worldwide. Media outlets, social platforms, and philanthropists all take notice of the young man's remarkable decision. It doesn't take long for other wealthy individuals to pledge their support for Barron's foundation, each offering substantial donations and resources. What began as a private event has now become a public movement, with Barron at the center of it. His gesture ignites a conversation about wealth distribution, responsibility, and the power of individual action. The ripple effects are felt not only among billionaires but also among ordinary people who are inspired by Barron's actions. Barron's new position in the spotlight surprises many who once viewed him as a shadow figure in the world of billionaires. Rather than following the path of wealth accumulation or power, Barron is charting his own course, one that is rooted in compassion and social change. His voice carries weight in ways many did not expect, and he becomes a symbol of a new generation of wealthy individuals who prioritize social good over personal gain. This newfound influence makes Barron a key player in the philanthropic world. He is now regarded as a force for positive change and a beacon of hope for those who believe that wealth can be used to create a better world. Not everyone is enamored with Barron's actions. Some critics, particularly from conservative business circles, argue that his large donation is nothing more than a publicity stunt or an attempt to distract from his family's business dealings. They question his motivations and suggest that Barron is too young and naive to understand the complexities of global philanthropy. Despite the backlash, Barron remains steadfast in his commitment to the cause. He refuses to engage in public disputes, instead focusing on the work ahead. For Barron, the critics are simply a distraction from the bigger picture, the need for systemic change and social responsibility in a world that has long been governed by self-interest. In an unexpected turn of events, many billionaires who had initially been skeptical of Barron's gesture begin to publicly express their support for his philanthropic initiative. Some of the most well-known figures in tech and finance, such as Bill Gates and Jeff Bezos, release statements acknowledging Barron's maturity and courage. While they may have initially viewed his act with caution, they are now inspired to contribute in meaningful ways. This response is not just about matching Barron's financial donation, it's about recognizing that he has sparked a new era of wealth responsibility. Some of these billionaires even go so far as to mention Barron in their upcoming speeches, crediting him as the inspiration behind their renewed commitment to social causes. Barron's act of kindness, it seems, is creating a ripple effect among the richest people on the planet. As the movement grows, Barron begins to outline a more detailed vision for his foundation. He hosts a press conference to discuss the specifics of the initiatives he will fund, focusing on solving some of the world's most pressing problems, such as the climate crisis, global hunger, and access to healthcare. Barron emphasizes that his foundation will not only provide financial resources but also advocate for policies that support sustainable change. At the heart of his vision is the idea that collective action is the key to solving global issues. Barron proposes partnerships between governments, corporations, and individuals to create a holistic approach to global challenges. His foundation will focus on education, community-driven solutions, and renewable energy projects that can provide long-term solutions to people in need. Barron's charitable efforts are not just inspiring other billionaires. They are also forging unlikely alliances between different sectors of society. Environmental groups, social activists, and even government organizations begin to take notice of the young philanthropist's work. Some activists, who had once criticized the corporate world for its greed, now find themselves in discussions with business leaders about how to work together for positive change. Barron's ability to bring together individuals and organizations with differing agendas speaks to his unique approach to philanthropy. He does not see people as opponents but as potential collaborators in a shared goal. His ability to bridge these divides has earned him admiration from unexpected corners of society, including those who were once skeptical of his family's legacy. In addition to his large-scale charitable donations, Barron has quietly supported a number of young entrepreneurs with innovative ideas. He funds startups that focus on environmental sustainability, technology for social good, and healthcare solutions for underserved communities. Many of these entrepreneurs, who might otherwise have struggled to secure funding, now find themselves with the backing of one of the wealthiest young philanthropists in the world. Barron's quiet support extends beyond just writing checks. He mentors several of these entrepreneurs, offering advice and connections that help them scale their businesses. His approach is hands-on, and he is deeply invested in ensuring that these young companies not only succeed but also create meaningful change. As Barron's foundation gains momentum, he embarks on a global tour to promote his mission. He travels to countries that are most affected by poverty, climate change, and healthcare disparities. During his visits, Barron meets with local leaders, grassroots organizations, and individuals who are working tirelessly to improve their communities. His goal is not only to raise awareness but also to understand the challenges on the ground and how his foundation can offer tangible support. His travels allow him to see firsthand the struggles that many people face. Barron is deeply moved by the resilience and resourcefulness of the communities he visits, and these experiences only strengthen his resolve to push for global change. The tour also serves as a platform to raise awareness of his foundation's initiatives, bringing attention to the issues that matter most to him. Barron's generosity and passion for change quickly catch fire on social media. The younger generation, particularly millennials and Gen Z, are captivated by his authentic approach to philanthropy. Barron's social media presence grows exponentially as he shares behind-the-scenes glimpses of his work and personal reflections on the importance of giving back. The hashtag Barron Trump Foundation starts trending worldwide, with people from all walks of life showing their support for his efforts. The viral nature of his message reaches beyond the elite circles of billionaires to everyday people who are inspired to make small but impactful changes in their communities. Barron's use of social media to amplify his message proves to be a powerful tool in mobilizing people and resources. While Barron's generosity is widely praised, some critics in political circles begin to question his motivations. Some claim that his donations are an attempt to garner favor for his family's political legacy or to influence public opinion in his favor. These critics argue that Barron's actions are calculated and that he is trying to position himself as a political figure in the future. Despite this criticism, Barron remains focused on his work. He does not let the negative comments deter him, understanding that the work he is doing is far more important than any political agenda. His foundation continues to thrive, and he refuses to get drawn into any public disputes that would divert attention away from the causes he cares about. In a surprising twist, several celebrities joined Barron's philanthropic cause, offering their time and resources to support his foundation's initiatives. Hollywood stars, musicians, and athletes lend their voices to the campaign, raising awareness and donating substantial sums of money to the foundation. This unexpected support helps propel Barron's efforts into the mainstream, further cementing his reputation as a philanthropist with a genuine desire to make a difference. The celebrity endorsements bring a new level of visibility to Barron's work, and their involvement in his projects helps reach a broader audience. Barron, who has always been private and focused on his mission, is grateful for the support but remains grounded in his goal of making lasting, positive change. As Barron's foundation continues to grow, it reaches a historic milestone, raising over $10 billion in contributions. The news spreads quickly, and the foundation's impact becomes undeniable. Barron is hailed as a visionary philanthropist, and his efforts are recognized by organizations such as the United Nations and the World Health Organization, who collaborate with him on several global initiatives. Barron's foundation becomes a leading example of how wealth can be used to drive large-scale social change. His approach, focused on collaboration, transparency, and sustainable solutions, sets a new standard for philanthropic organizations. Barron's leadership proves that a young person, with the right vision and determination, can make an enormous difference in the world. Barron Trump's rise as a global philanthropist culminates in a significant moment at the United Nations. He is invited to speak at the annual UN General Assembly, where he presents his vision for a united world where corporate wealth, government resources, and grassroots movements come together to fight global challenges. Barron's speech is widely anticipated, with many curious about how this young philanthropist would address such a prestigious audience. When Barron takes the stage, he delivers an impassioned speech about the importance of collective action. He calls for international cooperation to address climate change, poverty, and access to education. His eloquence and convictions strike a chord with world leaders and dignitaries. By the end of his address, Barron receives a standing ovation. His words resonate globally, and the media coverage of his appearance further cements his status as an influential figure in global philanthropy. Following his successful speech at the UN, Barron begins collaborating with world leaders on critical global initiatives. His diplomatic approach and genuine commitment to solving world problems make him a trusted partner in the international community. He works with governments to create policies that promote renewable energy, healthcare access, and financial support for developing countries. Barron's ability to connect with leaders across the political spectrum allows him to play a unique role in fostering unity for global change. Leaders from both developed and developing countries find common ground in Barron's vision, and he facilitates important discussions about the allocation of resources. Whether it's negotiating global climate accords or advocating for a better healthcare system, Barron's influence continues to expand. His work transcends borders, proving that even the youngest philanthropists can have an outsized impact on the global stage. In another surprising turn, Barron Trump is granted a private audience with Pope Francis. During their meeting at the Vatican, Barron discusses his vision for using wealth to promote peace and social justice. Pope Francis, known for his advocacy for the poor and vulnerable, listens intently to Barron's ideas. The meeting is a significant moment in Barron's journey, as he receives the Pope's blessing for his charitable efforts. Pope Francis encourages Barron to continue his work, emphasizing that true wealth is measured not by material gain but by the positive impact one has on others. This encounter marks a new chapter in Barron's philanthropic journey, strengthening his resolve to create lasting change. With the Pope's endorsement, Barron gains further credibility in the global community, and his foundation's work gains even more support from religious groups and international organizations. Barron's philanthropic reach grows even further when he announces his plans to revolutionize the global education system. He advocates for a new model of education that focuses not only on academic achievement but also on teaching empathy, social responsibility, and global citizenship. Barron partners with leading educators and innovators to create a curriculum that prepares students to be active and conscious participants in solving the world's most pressing challenges. The educational initiative is a bold move, as Barron pledges to invest in schools that focus on underserved communities, particularly in regions facing economic hardships. His foundation provides grants to schools worldwide that adopt this new model of education. The initiative is a game-changer, with Barron's influence driving policy changes in education systems across countries. His work redefines what it means to be a global citizen and encourages young people to take responsibility for the future of the planet. As Barron's foundation flourishes, the impact of his work is undeniable. However, it is not just the financial donations or high-profile partnerships that define his legacy. It is his ability to inspire a global movement toward kindness, empathy, and shared responsibility. Barron's personal story, from a young man in the Trump family to a leader in the philanthropic world, becomes a testament to the power of individual action. As he ages and continues to expand his philanthropic efforts, Barron becomes a symbol of how wealth and privilege can be used for the greater good. His foundation is now considered one of the most influential in the world, and his legacy is taught in schools as an example of social responsibility and activism. Barron's life work is a reminder that regardless of where one starts, it is possible to change the world for the better. With a focus on sustainability, Barron makes significant strides in addressing environmental issues through his foundation. He works on projects that provide clean energy solutions to developing countries, helping to reduce the carbon footprint in regions that are heavily reliant on fossil fuels. Barron's initiatives also include reforestation projects and programs to combat plastic waste, particularly in the oceans. He partners with environmental NGOs and climate activists to scale these efforts globally. Barron's vision for a sustainable future is not just about fighting climate change but also creating a more equitable world. His projects help to empower communities, providing them with the tools to build a sustainable future for themselves. By focusing on both environmental and social impact, Barron continues to lead the charge for a planet that is both ecologically and economically thriving. Barron's work inspires a new generation of young activists who rally behind his vision of global change. His foundation hosts a series of youth summits around the world, where young people can come together to discuss and create solutions to global challenges. These events not only empower youth but also connect them with established leaders in politics, business, and social activism. The youth movement sparked by Barron's efforts becomes a global phenomenon. Young people across the world mobilize, using social media platforms to share ideas, create change, and fundraise for causes they believe in. Barron's commitment to youth-driven activism ensures that future generations will continue to push for progress, making his foundation's influence felt long after he's gone. Barron's influence extends beyond his public initiatives. Behind the scenes, he has become a trusted advisor to several world leaders, offering guidance on matters ranging from climate policy to global trade. His unconventional wisdom, combined with his forward-thinking mindset, makes him a valuable mentor for those at the highest levels of government and business. His mentoring role is unique in that he is not a traditional political figure but a philanthropist with a deep understanding of global issues. Barron's ability to bring together leaders from different sectors, business, government, and civil society, has earned him respect as a quiet power broker. His influence continues to grow as he uses his position to push for policies that align with his values of social justice, sustainability, and global cooperation. In the final chapter of Barron Trump's philanthropic journey, the world witnesses the culmination of decades of work toward building a more just and sustainable world. Barron's foundation has expanded into a global network of institutions that tackle issues like poverty, hunger, education, and climate change. His impact is visible in every corner of the globe, from the poorest villages to the most developed cities. Barron's legacy is not only defined by the billions of dollars raised or the policies enacted but by the shift in global consciousness he has helped bring about. He leaves behind a world that is more connected, more empathetic, and more committed to tackling the challenges that threaten humanity's future. Barron Trump, once known primarily as the son of a former president, is remembered as one of the most influential figures in modern history, not for his wealth, but for his unwavering dedication to improving the world for all.